What is up, everyone? It is DJ Martini Midwest Reviews coming at you with another video for my channel. Today I have a really good pair of headphones. I have the 9000 series from Phillips, the 9500 of course, and the 9600, the SPHs. I definitely want to talk about them. They are a classic pair of headphones, retro, and very well sought after for good sound, and even audiophiles do like these headphones. So I definitely want to talk about them. I love, you know, kind of older headphones, and I love talking about different types of headphones that maybe people haven't really heard about, because you're always hearing about the pretty popular name brands these days. And I like to go back and check some old headphones out that still are at a value compared to some other headphones and still sound really good, and these definitely fit that bracket. So we're going to talk about all kinds of things, comparing them a little bit, because they do have different kinds of things going for each headphone. And you might wonder if I already have the 9500s, should I get the 9600s? And we're definitely going to talk about that as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. It's DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If you've never tuned in my channel, just know I love to do review videos. I love to do tutorials, all kinds of tech, DJ equipment, microphones, headphones, all kinds of equipment, and even some weird stuff that I get into every once in a while as well. So I do all kinds of review videos, tutorials, try to help. And that's all I'm here to do, is try to help do that research for you so you don't have to, give it to you as easy as possible, and then leave some links in case you're interested in some of the products that we talk about. So thank you so much for tuning in. We are steadily growing this channel as well, so thank you so much for that. Please like, subscribe, and share if this is helpful at all, and let's get into the video. So I do have both pairs behind me. We're going to start with the older one, of course. That did come out in 2013, and I think it definitely shows by the design of the headphone, which I still like today. So this is the SPH 9500 right here, and it came out in 2013. And right now they're running about $74, and they're actually, these are kind of still sought after. People still want to grab these, and they're actually the same price at this point as the newer 9600. So definitely see the design here. All the writing left and right, very sought after. I love when they put left and right on a headphone, actually. And they have a little stamp out here. They are plastic on the top, and they do have like good padding. It does feel, it's not like smooth, so it's a little bit rough. There's a little bit of texture to it. Nice pads here. I've gotten a lot of use out of these actually, and use them a lot. They definitely sound good, have a pretty good build quality, like I said. Not a lot of clamp force in my opinion, but not too bad. So they do kind of flex this way. Not really, well, a little, they'd flex that way too, I guess. They feel pretty good. They also say left and right on the inside. Let's see if I can get that right there. Yeah, see left and the right on that side as well. So very cool. They also have like a tilted design. So they always talk about the vented neodyme drivers, and they're 50 millimeters, of course, but they are like angled. So even when you have them put on, the drivers are angled like this, so they sit on your ear correctly, and so you do get a good sound. Now these are open back, so you can see the driver inside, and they will leak out sound, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. That's something important to know, because they're not a normal pair of headphones where they've got closed a back where it's going to keep all the sound in, and then a lot of people ask, well, do they leak sound? Well, yes, these absolutely leak sound, and they do it quite well. And so you're definitely people are going to be able to hear what you're listening to and things like that. So these are more for at home, for people who are possibly reviewing things like monitoring music or sound or live things, maybe listening to TV, gaming on your own if you're not worried about bothering other people. So they do have really great sound, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I definitely just want to kind of show you what they're looking like and kind of let you know. So they are wired. They only have one wired hookup here. It is gold plated, and they don't do anything else. They're not, they don't do anything super fantastic for technology wise, like blocking sound out or any kind of filters or anything like that. These are just pretty old school type headphones. You plug them in, 3.5 millimeter jack, plug them into your device, and you just listen. That's it. Pretty simple and basic. So I kind of like that about them too. So in the box, in this particular pair right here, which is the 9500s, like I said, here's the box. They actually look pretty professional, pretty cool. They do come with looks like a very long, and I actually have that back here, cord. It's like 9 feet long, so it's super long. Good to have. They come with a little adapter as well. It's a quarter jack. And then that's it. That's all that comes in the box. And then the headphones that comes. They do come packed well, and they come in like a nice, like a little felt bag here, just to protect them. This is, I don't know if this is for travel or anything, but it's, if you wanted to keep it, you could, and it would kind of protect your headphones. They don't fold or anything, so that's something that you should know about. They don't fold in. You can't, these aren't like to travel with or anything. You could, but like I said, they don't fold purposely to do anything spectacular. Like I said, these are for at-home monitoring, listening to music, just anything you want to do with music. These can do very well because they sound really good, which we'll talk about. All right, I'm going to set these here, and just to go over a little bit of specs on them. Like I said, they do have that very long cable. They go through 12 to 35,000 hertz of their frequency range. They are 32 ohms, so they do require a little bit of power. Now, I have gotten away with plugging these into my phone, and they sound okay, plugging them in a laptop, gaming devices, type like that. And I don't need to amplify them, but if you did have some kind of sound amplifier, like a FIO, which I've talked about in the past, or something, a little mini amplifier for your headphones, it will work, and it will make them a little bit louder, improve some of the sounds a little bit, especially low end if you're kind of worried about that. But they will take some amplification if you'd like, and sound pretty good with that. But they do work just enough with your normal devices and the sound input, in my opinion. So that's about it. I want to talk about just the pros real quick for each one a little bit later, but we'll talk about sound quality once I just talk about the other one first. So these ones are a little bit different, and you can tell they've different, from the 2013s to the 2020s, how we kind of changed and evolved. And they didn't just like say this is the next step up from, they're calling it the 9000 series, but it is the 9600, which everybody kind of says, okay, well, that's got to be the replacement for the 9500s. They did cover some of the complaints of the 9500s, but at the same time, the 9500s do some things better than these headphones. So we're going to talk about that, but let's take a quick look at these. I've had these for a while, and I've actually in my opinion, prefer the sound with these a little bit more. We'll go into that a little bit later. I definitely want to jump into that, but they still have the same design a little bit. You can see that they're keeping some of that. So this is probably exact same parts and things. So they did kind of, move some things over from the 9500s, but they are different. You notice there's no adjustment little key, so you can still see the numbers on here, but there's not like a hole drilled out there. Put a little gold accent on them. I don't know what is up with that, because they don't even match with the cords that they come with. So that's kind of weird. But they did make them seem a little bit more muted, a little bit more modern, a little bit more tamed than, all the giant, Phillips in your face right here, So they're definitely a little bit muted compared to the older models. Still the same padding, and like some people might like that, because they're used to the other ones, so it's going to be exactly the same. I feel like they're not really changed at all. Maybe these feel like a little bit more a different type of memory foam than they used to have, but other than that, pretty similar. They still have that angle design where even when you put them on your head, the speakers are going to be angled a little bit. So you can see that they're tilted a little bit. They do have articulation, the same as the other ones, and that's about it. And once again, they have the 3.5mm jack on the bottom. That's it. There's no special technology on these either. No, ambient sound dampeners, no, noise reduction, no nothing like that. It's still the same concept that these are just headphones to monitor. And you can I'll talk about some things we can do with them, but you can see on the right head, they are comfortable, they are over the ear, and they cover very well, but there's no noise reduction at all. So you can absolutely hear the world perfectly. I'm not raising my voice or anything. I can hear myself plain as day through these headphones. Kind of helps with some types of monitoring music, you know, because you can listen to them in your headphones and then you can still hear it on the outside to make sure they're lining up. There's things like that that it can help with monitoring at the same time, and you can still hear everybody as well. So the clamping force on these is not crazy. Like I said, I don't think they're, you know, they feel really good on my head. They're not like squeezing or anything, and they're about the same on the other one in my opinion. Yeah, these even feel a little bit less, maybe because they're broken in a little bit more, but yeah. So clamping force, not bad at all. Very, very similar. They just changed the design a little bit. Drivers are still 50 millimeter. They still have the same specs as the other one that I talked about. No changes in that, really. You know, that's it. That's all we have to talk about there. So in the box, and these ones, they did change them up a little bit because they did add a microphone and a remote if you need that. And they do cost a little bit more if you pick them up. If you pick them up, just the headphones are $63. And if you pick them up with the microphone in this pack, it raises it up like $10, so about $74, $75. And this is the microphone you'll get right here. So it does come with that. Okay, it works okay. It does have a little remote on here so you can adjust the volume and do things like that. And has the connection on the back, gold plated on there, but it's like gray, and they have like the gold accents on there. So I don't know why they didn't like make some gold accents on this. They didn't really match them up. It just seems like they took a product and kind of threw it in there with them. And so it is a little weird. So one thing I would say, this microphone is okay and it works pretty good, but I have upgraded it to a very popular V-moda microphone and remote. And they actually have a Boom Pro X that they've upgraded this one to. So this is a little bit older, but this is only $15, and it's actually a really good mic. It's a great gaming setup. It has some functionality on here. You can mute and volume, and a nice cool clip. So this is a nice little added long cord, nice little added upgrade to the microphone if you would like to add this, and you just buy the regular headphones and then add this as your microphone. It would be an improvement over the stock one in my opinion, but the stock one does work decently if you just wanted to order that one. But this is a V-moda Boom X microphone, or Boom Pro. So Boom Pro, and then they have a Boom Pro X, which is a newer version of that one. So it runs about $24, and then the older runs about $17. So depending on what you want, you can go to the new one. I haven't owned the new one, but that's the older one, and it still works really, really good, and is an upgrade. All right, so let's talk about sound profile. That's what everybody wants to get down to. So the 9500s. Okay, if you want a really good audiophile type of sound, and I'm just calling it an audiophile type sound because a lot of people understand that that's people who really, really like their sound, and so they really want separation, they really want a sound stage, they really want crispness and clearness and a little bit of low end, but not crazy. That's the way I kind of take it. That's my opinion. Then the 9500s are for you because they definitely have very, very crisp high ends. And I watched a lot of reviews and videos on, you know, people actually, you know, testing them and showing the graphs and all that kind of stuff. And that's what the 9500s do. They have very good highs and mids, crisp, clear, sharp sound, maybe even a little brash depending on what you're listening to on the higher end. And then the lows are punchy, but they really drop off when it goes to the sub bass. So very, very popular for sounding really, really good. And a lot of people like the sound stage on these for gaming. So that's something that people might like about them, is if you want to use them for gaming, hook up a mic like the V-moda Boom Pro. You can do that with these as well, so no problem. That's why it's a good accessory for either one. That's why I kind of bought these ones with the mic, and I could use them with that, or I can switch the V-moda Boom Pro as well with them. So a lot of people like them from gaming. Definitely a good soundstage, and soundstage is basically the separation of the instruments and the way that they sound, and open back headphones, which kind of leak sound out, and you can also hear the surroundings as well, kind of do a really good job of that. Some do. Compared to these like Akai headphones that are closed back, you can't see the speaker in them, there's no air going in through them, they're closed, so then all the sound is forced right into your ear here. And so some headphones do a good job of, you know, getting a little bit of sound stage in them, but these open headphones are very popular for that. So, and they do a good job. That's kind of the sound that you get from there. Now, a lot of people complain that these didn't have a low end and they kind of dropped off really bad and you couldn't really hear that sub bass very well. And so they did make the 9600s, which they did improve that. And I think that's the biggest thing of the improvement, is they did add some low end. So you can hear that sub bass and it's definitely noticeable. But that you can't have the best of both worlds, in that sense that yes, they added sub bass to these, but now you're going to sacrifice some vocals, some mid-range in my opinion, or even the high end depending on your ear, and that might get muddled a little bit. So they're not as crisp and clear as the 9500s in my opinion. That's my opinion. They're still, you're going to get a little bit of warmth in that mid-range, but at the same time that, and I can see if I can see what I put, but yeah, muffles, treble, and vocals a little bit. And it added some mid-range as well to these, but like I said, that's going to muffle some of your highs, some of your vocals just a little bit, make it a little bit more warm sounding, and so you're sacrificing some of that clarity. But you definitely aren't going to get that brashness, but at the same time you're just kind of muffling everything down to get that low end. So that's kind of how I take it. Now, do I like the sound in either one more? I like a little bit more bass in mine sometimes, depending on what I'm listening to. So it's actually really nice to have both of these, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because it does cost some more money if you want to buy an extra pair of headphones. But if you can afford to have both of these, it definitely has a good sound and different distinction in these. So the 9500s, if you're doing some monitoring and you want to really crisp in on your highs and your mids, and maybe you're listening to podcasts or things like that where your vocals are coming out a little bit more, the 9500s are going to work a little bit better. But if you're looking for a little bit more low end, or maybe you're watching a movie or things like that, these might sound a little bit better. And in my opinion, man, which one's best for gaming? That one's tough because some people like different things. So in my opinion, I would probably want a little bit more clarity in my gaming with the 9500s. Some people might want to hear explosions and things like that more with the 9600. So it's going to be a little bit, jaded on who likes what, and it's going to be based on your own opinion. But I can tell you, as I explained, that's kind of what those are going to do different. And so you might want to go and judge that on yourself. In my opinion, I probably do end up listening to the 9600s just a little bit more, just because they're overall good for all kinds of things. You know, if you want to listen to music and with a little bit more bass, great. Gaming and movies could sound pretty good. They still have enough being crisp and clear. They have enough of that it's okay for, general everything. But they both have soundstage, but the 9500 have more, put it that way. And then look is going to be, if you like a little bit more retro, I think this definitely pops out to people with the writing on them, Phillips, flashy and shining it. And then these are a little bit more muted, a little bit more modern, I would put it. And so the look is going to be up to you, but I still like both of them, in my opinion. Good soundstage on both of them. It's just going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be up to you what you might want a little bit more of. So if you want a little bit more warm, low end, and things like that, you might want the 9600s. If you want a little bit more high end, mid range, punchy bass, but kind of not sub bass, then the 9500s are for you. And then the negatives on these headphones is, they're wired. They don't have any cool technology that you're looking for. They're just headphones. You plug them in. You might need, if you want a little bit more volume, You might need a headphone amplifier, so you might need extra accessories, or maybe a different microphone if you like to use them for gaming, which I would recommend both of these. They would work for gaming. The microphone that they come with is okay, but I think the V-moda Boom Pro or the Boom Pro X are better, so something you might want to look into some extra accessories with them. Sound leakage could be an issue, and we talked about sound leakage. So basically they're going to leak out sound and other people are going to hear what you're listening to. Some people might not like that about them. They do sound really good, but you know, some people want a more intimate session with their music or whatever they're listening to, and so these aren't appropriate for every scenario or every situation, because people are in the room are going to hear these. These leak out sound pretty good, pretty loud. They, like I said, wired. They don't have any cool technology. No ambient sound blockage or noise reduction, or you know, internal mics or nothing like that. You know, no technology in them. They're just headphones for listening to whatever you want to listen to. And then a lot of people say they're good for podcasting, recording. I don't know about that, because if they're leaking out sound, you don't want the sound leaking out, you know, getting picked up by all your recordings. So maybe for listening to podcasts or listening to your recordings, yes, but for recording, actual recording session, you wouldn't want stuff leaking out of your headphones. So I don't know about that. Other than that, I think that's all I wanted to talk about these two headphones. Hopefully some of the topics that we talked about were helpful, and if they are, give me a like or subscribe. I got tons of more items coming, reviews, comparisons, tutorials, helps, all kinds of stuff coming to you. So please log in to my channel and subscribe, all that kind of good stuff, because we are growing this Martini Nation, so I can continue to do videos for everyone out there. Thank you so much. Hopefully this is helpful. Let me know which one you might be looking at, which one sounds a little bit better to you in the comments as well. That'd be awesome. One last thing, I will leave some reference links for all these products so you can kind of take a look at them and, you know, check them out if you're interested. Thank you so much. That's all I got for you today. I'll catch you really, really soon on my next video coming soon.